You think about the sticker shock of how much money do you have that you've been thinking about the entire year versus what do you just get today. And if you think about, to Steve's point, February is Christmas, February is Valentine's Day. There's a lot of retailers that will really depend on that number. So what was interesting was, if you think about last week, where it looked like we were really falling behind, and I think we had Victoria's Secret last week put out results which were lackluster.
Yeah.
It's something definitely worth keeping an eye on. Now, right now, it looks like we're balancing back out.
And Simeon, what do you think is happening overall with the tax refund trend? We were down 17%. Now it looks like we're up just under 2% compared with last year. But the jury's still out for the rest of the season.
Yeah, so what's interesting is last week, we peaked in terms of the average, in terms of how much people got back. Now it starts coming back in. So what we see next week, I think, will be really important. We're in the middle of this Q4, we're getting the results from what happened over holidays, so we're getting this backwards look on spending, but February is going to matter. So I think as we think about the progression of the retail tax refunds now, or the impact you'll have on retail, right now we're at parity. We really care a lot about what next week looks like.
Yeah. Kelly, the results show that the total number and total amount of refunds running 3 to 4% behind last year, but the average refund is a little bit higher. One thing that's really interesting, maybe Simeon, you could talk about this. What we find is people find out they're getting a refund, right? But they don't spend more in the time while they're waiting for the check. The JP Morgan Chase data shows it's up like $90 spending in a week. After that is when you get the surge. So nobody spends the money before the check arrives. When the check arrives is when they go crazy.
I guess the reality is maybe we'd prefer that be the case. I think the timing also matters. So I haven't seen that data, but you think about what is the catalyst now to spend? You kind of have to spend on Valentine's Day. There's no excuse saying, well, I didn't get my refund yet, so those flowers aren't going to come. I don't know that that's going to cut it. So if you think about after the fact, now you have this little bit of a lull until, listen, maybe it's the prime, Amazon should start a tax refund day. We've already have July and Black Friday. Bring it right now. But I think that makes sense. I think the notion of how much wealthier do you feel right now, you have the money in your pocket, now I can go and get that sweater. By the way, as it's starting to get warmer. So it triggers, it hits an interesting point of time.
Simeon,
and I think right now what we will wait to see.
Last question to you, and I know you said, to watch Signet and L Brands, they had some Valentine's Day weakness, but also those reliant on consumers a little bit down the disposable income chain would be the likes of TJ Maxx and Ross Stores. Right. So if you think refunds are going to do poorly, you'd sell those names. If you think they'll be fine, you buy them?
Yeah, I think so. Now, the interesting counterbalance to that is the wage conversation. If you think about who's benefiting from the increased minimum wage. So we're talking to management teams. I think they have yet to be seen. In a vacuum, I would be Valentine's Day and lower income would be who I'd be most concerned about if you believe the refund slowdown.